3, 2, 1, go.
All right, folks, welcome to today's Zoom Up. My name is Scott Rowe. I'm actually here in Chicagoland in my office, and my partner is in the woods. He owns 265 acres in Tennessee, and he's planning on changing the world. That's Michael Huggins over there. Say hey.
What's up, everybody?
There he goes, man. That guy went from 22 years old as an oil change kid at Jiffy Lube, and today is planning on putting together a bamboo farm, subdivision, and a tree house Airbnb.
That's right.
I'm going to own something. I'm going to own an Airbnb in the trees and rent it out. I'm going to own a house next to you. You tell me when you subdivide, I'm buying.
Perfect.
I think we all should. We should all hang out when it all goes down. All right. Anyway, we have these every single day at 1 o'clock for last month, featuring students from around the country that we are personally working with around the country. We've helped. Michael's helped a bunch of people. I've helped a lot of people get into real estate investing. But the guy we have today, nobody had to help him to get into real estate investing. He was already a real estate investor when I met him. But what I love about Bill is I will say this. He came down a little selfish. He's like, listen, the reason I want to know more about your program, because I don't want to have to help people. I want to just send them to you guys so you can help them because they're all asking me for help. So that was Bill initially when I met him, right? And he'll attest to that. But when he understood what was really going on here, he's like, dude, I really want to help. So he has been a major force in Atlanta for us. And I would say around the country because, he took on a webinar every single Wednesday to help people out called Bill Oehme's Boot Camp. He really is a fantastic giver. He's super intelligent, engineer by background, but please help me welcome real estate investor turned better real estate investor, Mr. Bill Oehme, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Well, thanks for the invite, Scott, and thanks for the kind words. It's always great to get on one of these webinars and talk real estate, talk to all the people across the nation. So we got people all here, 78 people? So why don't you guys, where are you all from? Type in the chat line where you're all from, because I'm sure there's people from all the way from Seattle all the way down to Florida.
There's people getting on like crazy. We got more coming. You'll be over 100.
Be over 100?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my background, as Scott said, I was already doing real estate investing. And then when the crash hit in 2008, I sort of was waiting for the world to end, and it didn't. And I started to realize, wait a minute, there's ways to do this that you don't have to be feast and famine or boom and bust. And I had found Renatus answering an ad. I answered an ad on Craigslist. I was like, well, what's this all about? And then I talked to Gene Powers and Scott and saw what was going on. And I was skeptical. I looked at the education and I said, guys, I've been doing this for a while. Well, what am I going to learn? But I took a chance and got my essentials. And the great thing was I knew about half of what was in the essentials and I didn't know the other half. And I'm like, wow, I'm in this business and I don't know this. So I got really excited. I said, okay, I can really recommend this to other people and learn myself. And well, I tell you, I've learned some stuff just from the classes and from the coaching that has meant millions of dollars in my business. So I have a very narrow niche. I am a little house guy. I buy little houses and I give people a pathway to ownership. And
how many little houses right now?
About 45. So I have, and people buy them from me eventually. So I always keep adding to the inventory. I've probably had 100 of them since I got started. And some people have ended up owning houses that would have never had a chance to own houses. And it's all because of what I learned from Jeff Armstrong and from some of the other instructors on how to structure those deals and create tremendous value for other people. So whenever I talk about it, I keep telling people, I say, look, there's huge opportunity to help other people. I think it's 80%, before COVID, 80% of the US population could not buy a house. 80%, now it's probably 95%. And what that means for you folks as investors is off the charts. I mean, your ability to create value and help others and get wealthy doing it has never been better. So, like I said, my thing is little houses. I have become an expert just by trial and error of finding deals at huge discounts. So when I'm buying houses at 20, 15, 10 cents on the dollar. And when you do that, you can't lose. So
I got a question.
Go ahead.
So what I really would want to know, and what I want to hear people hear is what I know about you is not what these guys know about you. So when you came in, because there might be some investors on the line here, and what I love about Bill is he coined himself the too cool for school guy, because when he came in, he thought he was too cool. He thought he knew everything, right? So
Yeah.
Bill, give these guys some perspective. If you were talking, is there some people on the line here that might not, they may already be a real estate investor, or maybe they think their life is all right. What give us an idea from your perspective.
My question always is, well, what would grow your business? If you're already doing real estate investing, what would double, triple, or 10 times your business? And look at your limitations, and whatever those are, take a look at what we in this group can do. So everybody has those 4 currencies, right? Knowledge, time, money, and relationships. Do you have the relationships that you need to really blow the business up? If not, take a look at what we're doing. If money is an issue, and this is what I run into people all the time, especially experienced investors, are always like, well, I'm limited by money. And I always say to them, well, if you learned how to raise all the money you could possibly want, would that get rid of that bottleneck? Oh, absolutely. Okay, then come down and see what we're doing. Learn from people that are raising that type of money. Maybe you already have money. Maybe you're already a serious investor or a serious person. Maybe you're a doctor, a lawyer, and you've got lots of money, but you don't have time. Okay, perfect. Then learn how to make real returns on that money. Learn how to make double digit, sometimes, God, sometimes more than that, returns on that money backed by real estate. So you're not a cheerleader for the stock market. Learn how to create wealth instantly just by buying at a discount. Maybe you're buying properties at 80 cents on the dollar and that's what you've been taught to do. Learn how to buy them for 30 cents on the dollar. Learn ways to do that. So take a look at your model. And this is what I was doing when I came to the group. I was like, okay, I've got about as much as I can do myself. What other ideas are there? And when I started learning from people in the group, the instructors, just other investors, that's when my business just, took off. So that's my suggestion. Anybody that is a investor already is look at what you're here for a reason. Right? I have a joke. When I have a webinar, I have never had Bill Gates or Warren Buffett come to my webinars. I mean, I look every time. I look at all the names, okay? But everybody short of that, there's something that can be added to your business that can help you out. So take a look at what we have and see if that fills that need.
Question.
Yeah.
When was the last time you actually got up and went to work for a job?
I haven't worked in 15 years.
15 years.
In fact, the funny thing was, and this is a good story, but I knew my job was going away. I'm an engineer. I had loved my job as engineering, but technology changes, companies merge, things go away. And I talk to people all day long, 50 somethings, that they did everything they were supposed to do. They worked 60 hours a week. They gave up their lives for the business. And then they get freed up to pursue other opportunities. And that happened to me. And 23, I think it was 23 years I worked for the company. I was like, hey, we don't need you anymore. But that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because now I was like, oh, okay, I can do this real estate thing full time. I don't have to keep my job was costing me money, basically what it was. And so when I got freed up, it was great because all the people that got laid off at the same time, they all came to me and said, how's that real estate thing work? And I would show them and they'd say, oh, I got to learn how to do that. And then I'm like, oh, I don't want to teach you guys. I got other things to do. So I was like, oh, but I got a solution. I found it. Come on, look at Renatus.
Yeah.
So that was a good thing about that.
And thank God that happened, because you and I would not have a relationship today if it wasn't for people pestering you how to learn how to really do it.
Yeah. And it was, look, I'm only one guy, right? I only know so much. So when I'm looking at people that are experts, like we have what, 34, 35 instructors,
Yeah.
Jeff Armstrong, man, the guy knows everything there is to know about notes, tax and legal. I texted that message to you, Scott, when I said, do you know how much taxes I've
I'll
paid
tell the
over the
I'll tell
last
the
10
story.
years?
I'm a part of that story with you, and that's why I wanted you on here. So I'm actually so I got on a three-way. This is a funny. So Bill sees my webinars, right? And he gets on very cocky at the three-way call with Gene. He's like, I've got all this going on. He goes, I'm like, so what kind of decision you want to make? He's like, yeah, I don't need no classes. And I'm like, okay, so why are we on the phone? He goes, because I like your processes. The education seems to be great. I'd like to send people to you because they're bothering me. Right? They're telling me, hey, can you please help me learn this, Bill? And so what I want to do is just send people to you guys because it seems like you got this thing figured out. I'm like, all right, I got off the phone. I didn't even push it. I'm like, all right, sounds good, Gene. Get him that contract to send us people. And that was it. And then it was actually months later when you came back and you were like, all right, I'm ready to get my essentials. So it was a couple months later. Like, I'm like, why you want your essentials now? I thought you had it all figured out. And he was like, well, I'm sending people to you and they like it too. And then they come back to me and say, hey, what did you think of this education? And Bill's like, I don't need it. And so now the people are like, well, then why do I need it? Why don't you just help me out, Bill? And then Bill's like, I'm in the same position. Right? He
I
goes,
went this big loop.
yeah, it was a big feedback loop. So he's like, I'm going to get the classes. It's a complete write-off inside my business anyway. I'll get these essentials classes, see if there's anything I can key in on. And that week,
right.
and that was the week, right? I remember getting a text from Bill. I think I was doing the meeting and I looked down and he sent me a text and this text read exactly this. He goes, do you realize what I've lost in taxes my entire life? That's what he sent me. And I sent back 2 words because you can't really help. Like, I can't explain how good what we got is. And I just sent back 2 words. I'm like, I know. right? Right.
That
like,
was it.
That's it. That's all I could send because people are like, what's in this thing? I'm like, to be honest with you, take advantage of your 7-day right of rescission and dig into the classes. You will not rescind. You will keep them. So
I tell people, I say, you understand on your 7-day right of rescission, you could watch the whole essentials.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just get a couple of cups of coffee, some Red Bull, and whatever else you need to stay awake, because your brain's going to explode. I mean, you better have a Tupperware thing because it's a lot of information. But you watch the whole thing, and if you don't see there's value in it, it's okay. That's no harm, no foul.
You know what I tell people about the essentials? I'm like, look, to be honest with you, the classes in the essentials we should add in high school.
But it's criminal.
Government and big corporations don't want us to know exactly what we should know about taxes, about the banking systems, about the retirement plans, about buying houses. They want to keep us. And I'll say this: I've said this before. Laws in America are designed to benefit Americans. The processes were designed to take advantage of you. So get to understand exactly how this stuff really works. Pull the curtain back, and then become Bill Oehme. Or better yet, become Michael Huggins.
Michael Huggins and have a bamboo farm.
Right? Like I'm ticked off at Michael. He's only 22 years old. The kid starts with us at 22 years old, and by 32, he's got 265 acres in Tennessee. And man,
when I heard Michael was moving my way, I called him up and I welcomed him to the Southeast. I said, "Well, welcome to the Southeast. It's different than the West." I said, "You're gonna have to learn. People here think you have accents. Let's put it that way."
Yeah. Anything else, Michael, you want to ask him? Talk about?
Well, yeah. So I remember you mentioned a stat about because of the area you're investing in, you own like 0.5% of all the houses in your city.
Yeah, it's in my county. My claim to fame is I own 0.5% of all the houses in my county. But it's funny because when it goes through 5 or 6 people, it gets bigger and bigger. Like the other guy says, I hear you own half the houses in your county. No,
Oh, nice.
I'm not that good.
Right.
I hear you own half the houses in Georgia. I'm like, whoa.
That's a pretty good rumor.
Yeah.
That's a good rumor, right?
I'll be like, I wish.
That's right. No, it's a lot of fun. And I've met so many people that just great people. Folks I've learned from, folks I've helped out. Bob Snyder, just top notch all the way. I mean, I've known the guy for 7 or 8 years right now. And, there's just nobody that's a higher caliber individual.
Oh, dude, it's hard. I don't even want to try and keep it with Bob Snyder as far as morally. One last question for you. I got a question. This is a real estate question. So you're actually setting people up as tenants and then you're creating a note for them. So you're the bank, right?
Well, actually, there's a process. Like I might start them off with a lease with an option.
Yeah.
And then eventually, if they prove out that they are worthy, in other words, they have to show a
Okay.
track record,
Yep.
then turn them into a seller financing deal,
Yeah.
right? It might actually be a contract for deed for a while, like Tony Scotti teaches.
Okay.
But eventually, yeah, eventually seller financing.
And all of this
And
you learned in the classes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jeff Armstrong. I mean, when I went to his workshop, you know, I was just talking to, I was probably like hogging all his time in the breaks, right? Asking him questions and stuff. But yes, we had some good discussions. And, you know, when I realized that, wait a minute, I can just be the bank. And I gave you, and the great thing is I can be the bank and create money out of thin air.
Right.
So, you know, when I buy a $100,000 house for 20 grand, and then I sell it for $100,000, I just created $80,000 out of thin air. And oh, by the way, how much taxes do I owe on that 80 grand I just created out of thin air?
None.
None. Because we don't tax wealth in the United States. We only tax income.
Yeah.
How come they don't tell you should have to know that when you graduate high school. You can't graduate high school unless you know the difference between income, wealth, and cash flow.
Sure, you don't have to pee.
It would change everybody.
You sure?
Somebody's got to pee and poop. So you got somebody so excited they got.
I was going to say, I got somebody so excited. Wow. I think it was that great.
You got to poop after that one.
I might have to go myself.
But really, when I, you know, like listening to Mark Kohler and some of the stuff and then self-directing retirement accounts, you know, buying a tax deed on $100,000 house for $4 grand into a retirement account. And now you have $100,000 in your retirement account. And that's a 25 times return on investment. While everybody else is worried about stock market. I'm like,
look at his engineer brain going. It's awesome.
Knock yourself out.
You just put
Beautiful
just
thing.
put a camera on and just hit record. Just let
Right.
We'll talk.
The only problem is I end up with more animals because every time I buy a house, there's usually a stray animal. Then I got to take care of another animal. So I don't know. I'm getting to
maybe God has put you in on this. Look, man, it's all come together serendipitous to you're just like a saint. You'd be like Saint.
I'm not. Listen,
Saint
don't
O'Neill.
ask my wife. She'll give you the straight poop. Okay, there's no
Straight poop?
saintness there.
No Saintness and Bill.
But all my companies are named after my animals. So if you want to, you know, if you're looking up Titan Equities or Solos Houses or Fin Investments.
You just told me you had like 7,300 animals in a sanctuary. How do you do that?
Well, no, my personal animals. I have animals at my house. We have like the unadoptable ones, like the three-legged dog and the blind dog.
And you keep those. You're like, hey, those are.
Yeah, they're like, not going to get adopted. Come on, you can stay on the farm with me.
You're on now you're on Bill's team.
That's it. You're on Bill's team.
And that's
Other
why
ones,
you're gonna be a saint, bro.
No.
The most challenged animals get to live in the house.
They do. I tell you what, if they can make it into this place, they're golden. I mean, it's like they've hit the lottery.
Dude.
Anyway, yes, it's been great. You know, the stuff that's going on right now, what's changing. And again, so many people, you know, guys, if you're 40 something or 50 something and you're trying to reinvent yourself, you got to look at taking control rather than giving control to some company or some government or some, you know, because every day I talk to people that, you know, the company treats them bad and then they got to start over and they got to reinvent themselves. And it's like, guys, take control. The rules are out there. The government wants you to be a small business. They want you to invest in real estate. The laws are set up that way. It's amazing the benefits that you get.
Unfortunately,
people
get stuck in
know.
process. Yeah,
they don't know.
All right. So Michael, I appreciate you, Bill, for jumping on here.
My pleasure.
And we could probably, if we let you talk and us go for an hour.
Yeah.
But we promise people it's short. But Bill and Mike, you want to talk about the taking control? How do people take control if they're ready to take control like Bill just talked about, you know, reinventing oneself?
Right. That's really the key is this reinvention mindset and then getting a blueprint and a plan and steps along the way so that you don't have to do any guesswork. You got the professionals right along the side so that you know what you're doing. And part of what our organization does is it gets you connected to those people. Someone gave you a link today, whether you're here live. We now got 106 people live today. or you're watching a recording, there's going to be another couple videos you need to get on. And then it's very important you get a strategy session scheduled, a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-1, where you can get your questions answered, see how you can get involved with what we're doing, get the benefits that we're currently receiving from this. And Bill mentioned something about one of the instructors that absolutely changed his game, which is his name is Tony Scotti on the Contract for Deeds course. This is coming up real quick, so you need to mark your calendar, everybody. It is November 21st, and we're going to be doing it from 9 a.m. to about 4:30 p.m. Central Time. It is by invitation only, not open to the public, so you'll need to get the private link sent to you. If you're here today, all you got to do is ask the person who got you connected today for that link. We'll get you registered. Anyone who's registered, you can then attend. I absolutely love these strategies. I'm going to be there all day with pen and pad, ready to take notes and take action on that as well. There's so much behind the door. You just got to open that door and walk in. So we're here. We're excited to connect with you. Thanks again, Bill, for being here, sharing your story with us. We really appreciate your contribution to our community. And with that being said, everybody, go out there, kick some butt, face your dreams, and let's do it. Cash flow, baby.
Cash flow,
tomorrow.
baby.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Where do I find a recording?
Oh, you'll find the recordings on our YouTube channel, Elevate Renatus YouTube channel. There's a playlist of all these recordings. So catch those, share them with everybody, get connected. Let's grow this organization and change some lives. Sound fair?
Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Right.
Got it. Thank you.
See you
Take
guys.
care.
See ya.
Bye now.